Hi everyone, it's Dash of Dave here again, and I'm back for another craft video. So today I'm going to make one of these. So this is just like a little envelope, but it's made with one of these push clip things. These things, the kind of thing that you get on a Ziploc bag, but not using the zip. So we're going to make it using a push lock bag. Do I have another one here? Yes, there is another one here. So these come on the ends of lots of different things, and I just thought, well, this is actually from some dog food from when I had Worcester, and it's just one of those push locks. You just push it together and it locks in, and that's what I've done with this. I've just turned it into a kind of upcycled it and turned it into a little push lock folder, and I'll just show you how I did to make that. Very, very simple, not going to tax your brain in any way, shape or form. So all I did was I put in a little bit of window, and in the window I used some of the, remember the glassine that we made? So I just used some of the glassine that we did together last time, not last time, but one of the times a long time ago, back in the depths of time. That's when the image goes, supposed to do this, and you go back in time. No, anyway, I'm going to make it slightly bigger this time because this one is bigger. And the reason I didn't cut it down so that I cut it, so you could, in theory, can't get this one apart now. In theory, you could cut it down so that you cut off the ends, but then you're going to struggle to kind of get it to line back up again. Whereas if you leave the ends in, the sealed ends, then it will always line itself up and make it nice and easy. So I cut it down. It's very badly cut down, but it doesn't matter because you're not really going to see that bit. So I'm just going to use a file folder simply because it's it needs to be sturdy but flimsy, if you know what I mean. So it's got to have a bit of it's got to be a little bit limp when you hold it over your fingers, but it not completely like just a sheet of paper, because a piece of paper wouldn't be sturdy enough. But you don't want it to be too rigid, because then it's going to make it really hard to open it and close it, because you'll be playing with the stiffness of the thing. So anyway, we're going to make it out of this. So I've just got to decide how big I want it. So let's measure this first, because that's always a good place to start. So we have, how big is that? How big are you? You are, oh, you would be just over 10. So what I might do is I might just trim the very tip of the end here, but not so that it takes away the sealed bit, just to see if I can get it to fit within a 10-inch space. I can, that's cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it so that it's 10 inches wide. But what I did do was I've sewn this one, and we might sew the next one as well. I had an internal gusset as well, just to strengthen it a bit, because when you're sewing through things it can make it a bit thin and flimsy. So what we're going to have is we're going to go, we want to have a 1/2 inch either end for that bit of rigidity. So we're going to go for 11 then. I'm going to cut this down to 11 inches, which means that that's the 10 for our connector, and the 1/2 inch either end for our gusset. So I'm going to do that. And then what I want to do is, how deep is your love? No, how deep do I want it? I think we're going to go for a 6-inch depth. So we're going to cut this off at 6 inches. Now there isn't any extra on here. You notice on this one, this isn't actually sewn. It's just me drawing a squiggly line, because I didn't sew it before. Now you'd have to make sure that if you wanted to do that, you'd have to make sure that you before you put the attachment in, you sew the edge of the paper, which I might do on this one, the edge of the cardboard even. So I'm going to cut that down there. Okay, so we've got the bottom bit that's already connected. Yeah, so this bit's going to go in here, and then we're going to have a folded in gusset either end. So the best thing to do would be to use a scoreboard to get 1/2 inch. You don't have to, but simply because it's easier than anything else I've got to hand. Just going to do that half and that at half, and then I don't need both sides of it, so when I open it out, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut one of these away. Let's cut this one away. The reason why I chose to do a different side is because I like to score my lines. If they're pushed in, I like them to turn into a mountain, so like a valley becomes a mountain and a mountain becomes a valley, so they just tend to fold in the right place that way. So that's all that. So these are just now going to be folded over and scored in. And this end is going to be folded over and scored in. Okay, so if we're going to glue these side edges down, then we want to sew them after they're glued in. But this top edge, we can't obviously sew it, otherwise, like when it's glued all together, because otherwise it'll glue it shut. Sew it shut. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that now. So although I didn't sew it on the other one, we will sew it this time. So I'm going to get my sewing machine, which is down here, ready for another project. I had to untangle my microphone wire, which had all got tangled around every other wire that was going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this so that we have we're going to sew this so that we have the outer stitching on both. Should I do it on both? I don't know. Let me do this one first and then I'll tell you. So I either have the outer stitch, the top stitching on this side and the bottom stitching on this side, or I have the top stitching on both sides, or I have the bottom stitching on both sides, but I'm going to do it this way, I think. So let's turn it on. Just bring it a bit further forward and get my foot over the pedal. I'm just going to sew it with a zigzag stitch. And I'm not going to lock it off because I'm going to be folding this in and gluing it down anyway, so you're not going to really notice. So what I was thinking is, do I want this on the outside on both sides, or do I want this on the outside of the other side? So I think I'm going to go for this on the outside of both sides. And it'll just be the other sides that'll have some of the red stitching showing. So, on my pedal. Oh, Dave, you have to put the foot down. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this down, but first of all I've got to decide, do I want a window in it? So like this one, before you stick it down you need to put the window in first. So this one I had and I did as it was a die cut. It was actually the same die, just repeated. I did have the die to hand. It's here. All I did was I used this and then I just repeated it to extend it, because I didn't have a die that shape. So do I want to do that, or do I want to go a different way? Well, let's figure out which one I'm going to have of these in first. So I think that lends itself to something else. That might be quite nice. That's yellow on yellow though, isn't it? That one's quite nice, but it's not very long. Well, none of them are very long anyway. No, okay, so I either go for that. That one is more for sticking on a surface. So if I did that one, I would tear it away behind here. And have this and stick this on the outside rather than going on the inside, if you see what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, then I don't know whether I can explain it without doing it. Do I want to do that? Now, I did have another one of those somewhere. Oh, there. That's a different colour. Maybe that one then. That's one with again with this kind of picked up edge. If I did that, I would have it much more organic. So, am I going to do this? I think I'm going to do this, you know. So, like last time, all I did was I cut it out and then I stuck the other one behind. This one is going to be a bit of a difference. Maybe a pencil with an end on it would be a good idea to start with. There we go. So what we're going to do is, where do we want this to be? I think about where it is fine. So I'm just going to draw lightly round it. And you'll see why in a second. Just so we've got an idea of where it comes to. And I realise this will leave me with a pencil mark, but I will be able to rub the pencil mark out. Okay, so that's the shape that we've got that it's going to stick onto. So what we need to do is we need to take away that inner shape, but we need to leave an edge for it to be able to stick to. So what I need to do now is, if I want to do it with a blade, so I'm going to come in about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 centimetre, basically just follow that around. I'm not necessarily going all the way through this paper at the moment. Because why make it simple when you can make it a little bit more difficult? No, why make it plain when you can make it interesting? Life is more exciting if you make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so that's that, and then what I'm hoping to do is be able to just tear that now, being very gentle, just to tear on that line. Except for that bit there, I didn't want to tear. Go back this way, because I've scored it sufficiently. It should tear fairly well on that line that I've just created. It might tear a little bit off the back, but we're not going to worry about that because that's going to be on the inside. So that's that. That means then we will rub out this line. And then we'll attach this to there. And what we'll do is, if we open it up, you'll be able to see where you're attaching it, because you've got that silhouette line, the silhouetted line of the paper. So we'll stick some glue around the edge of this. We'll put some up to this up to the edge of here, and also on the edge of this. And then the two together will stick both edges down, so the inner edge and the outer edge. Normally I would have some a glue book down or something like that, but I haven't. Just go around the edge of here, so this glues down. So we've had the most torrential rain earlier today. I was going to have put my washing out today, I'm glad I didn't. I haven't done any washing actually, so there we go. It's because trying to do washing and making YouTube videos is like trying to be in 15 places at once. And I am not an octopus. An octopus? For those of you that were missing an octopus. One of our octopus is missing. So take all this off the edge. I mean, like, you know, if you like having the stringy bits, then leave them. But I do sometimes, just not necessarily on this project. So this is going to be left for now, because that's where we're going to glue in our seal. It's an octopus and seal warning on this video today, which is here. My seal, so that's going to be left. We'll glue that in last. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to sew around the edges. So I know that this doesn't need sewing because it's a folded line, but we're doing it for aesthetics. So I'm just opening this up and gluing this down before I stitch it, making sure the glue comes right up to the edge, and do this side as well, and that will help lock that sewn line in, because I didn't go backwards and forwards on the line, which you should do if you're going to lock a stitch. There we go. So that's all glued in. So you just need to be careful now, because this is going to be wet glue where you are going to sew, and you don't want it to kind of mess up your sewing machine. Let's just move some things out of the way. Ready for this next bit. So pull the sewing machine back into shot, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sew these. So I'm going to leave the very top edge until I've glued the other bit in. In fact, actually, whilst I'm waiting for this to dry, let's glue this top bit in, and then we can sew down this edge, and this will also lock this bit into position. So I just want to make sure it's all still connected. It is. So I'm not going to press it together just yet. I'm going to press it together in the middle. Well, if I can get it to go together in the middle. Is that together? Are we together? I want to be together. We want to be together. I just need to make sure that line is fairly straight, so it goes in fairly straight with my scissors. had a moment there where I thought my glue gun was still on, but it isn't. From a previous project. But I could smell glue gun, but it's not. So, this you'll need to stick down because it's plastic. You'll need to stick it down with some 3-in-1 would be better for this. Okay, and also if you can, Stan, make a new plan, Stan. I would just give it a bit of a key. So you can choose any key. It can be A flat, B major. I don't know anything about keys, so don't ask me. Yale, mortise lock. I don't know. 5 lever. The wrong type of key, Dave. Just give it, because it's plastic, you want to kind of just give something for the glue to anchor on. You don't have to do this. I didn't do it on the last one, but it does just help. Just give the glue a chance to kind of make a connection, and you just want to do that on both sides. Obviously be careful, don't breathe it in. Hopefully you can still see this, because I realised that the sewing machine is causing a shadow on my desk from the light coming in from that side. But okay, so clean that off a bit, because again you don't want to leave any of the gluey bits in there. And then what we're going to do is going to go in that way round. And what I'm going to do is I am going to glue one side down first. So I'm just going to put this glue all over this. Just on the one side, and I'm just going to smoosh that all in. So it's spread out a bit more evenly. Then we're going to open this up a little bit, and I don't know whether I can do this way up like this, but I'll see. I can, I will. I know you guys like to be able to see, and that's going to go in there. I'm going to make it level with the top, and we're just going to press it in. Remember, it's only stuck to one side at the moment. And then now don't try and use it, don't try and open and close it yet. You need to really wait, genuinely you need to wait until the glue is completely dry to give it a chance of bonding. I did try it with white glue and it didn't work for me. That doesn't mean to say it won't work for you, it just didn't work for me. And again, I've put a line of glue in there. I'm just going to smoosh it out. Be careful not to smoosh it off the side, otherwise you'll glue the two parts of your envelope together. And we're going to glue that bit down. So now I've got a very gluey, sticky finger. Okay, so find something to wipe that off on. Okay, rub that away. Look at that. So now, whilst we're giving that chance to glue and set and make contact, we do need to make sure that it's open though still. I'm just going to get in between the two sides of it and open it back out again. There you go. So that's what we need. We need it to glue like that, with it being open so that the edge is glued down. And that way then it will make much better contact. So now what we can do is we can go back in and do this, sew this. So starting at the top, I'm going to encapsulate that very top bit. Now, I will say, if you've got a sewing machine, you might want to do it, if you're going to do the sewing thing, you might want to do it with your hand. Hang on, that's going completely off the edge. You want to have it, do it manually with turning the thing, because you'll find it's really stiff to get it to go through all of those layers of plastic. And this way then you can control it and you're less likely to break your needle this way. Oh, that's really difficult to get through there. Once you're off the end of the plastic, you can then go and put your foot down and drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that down, just go backwards a bit, just to lock that in place, trying to be in high places at once, and then we're going to go with the, so give it a go. Once the needle's down, I mean, I might be teaching you to suck eggs here. When the needle's down, lift your foot up and turn it, and it'll pivot on that pivot. It'll pivot on that, on where the needle's down. Now I've got to the plastic bit again. I'm just going to do the manual turning of the thing now, just so I don't break my needle. So to be honest, I don't know whether I have any more. And then just go backwards a bit. Oh. Lock it in, and then forwards. Oh, I can't do it with my hand anymore, it aches. See if we can get it to go now. Yeah, there we go, and that's it. So we're going to take that out of there. So I'm going to put the sewing machine, stop saying sew because it's a sewing machine, Dave. The sewing machine down, and now we can have a look. So it's missed a bit over here, but it's not too bad. Snippy bits up there. Not the best, not the straightest of sewing, but hey, but there you go. You've got like a little pocket envelope thing with a quirky seal. Remember, while it's glue's still completely drying, you want to just hold both sides of it. But once it's dry, it'll be fine. And there we go. So we've made another little gem, very simple, using some rubbish that we would have otherwise thrown away. So you know, that's your That's some of those plastic Ziplocs. They're kind of the push seal Ziplocs rather than the Ziploc style ones. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously you can make that a little bit more distressed looking, old, vintage, whatever your heart's desire. But hopefully you'll give that a go. That's something you're just gonna have a play with. You know, what I'm trying to get you to do is think about the things that you have freely available to hand that you haven't otherwise thought of using, because we throw so much away, and I'm trying to stop you from throwing so much away. I'm just gonna smoosh this down a bit so that it looks a bit older. I should have done that before I did the sticking stuff down, but I wanted to get on with the tutorial side of things. So anyway, don't forget, if you've enjoyed the video, you know what you need to do. There is a button that does this, that says you liked it. So please do like it, because if you don't, I don't know that you've liked it. YouTube definitely doesn't know that you've liked it. And nobody else knows that you've liked it. If you feel so inclined, please do feel free to comment. I do reply to everybody's comments, don't necessarily get round to everybody straight away, but I do always reply. If you're still waiting for a reply from me, I'm really sorry, just been uber busy with work, but I will try and get to you very soon. And don't forget to subscribe if you're here and you've not already subscribed. And I will see you all in the next video. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Something you might give a go of. Just a bit of a multi-fun thing, because you've got the window here, so you should be able to see. Well, you can just about see what's going in there. That's because this is a yellow piece of paper, Dave, so that's not going to help. I don't have anything else though to hand, do I? No, it's a grey board. So yeah, so you can just about see in there, and you can see through this one better because this one is not of the vintage kind, so you can see there. And it's just got that nice little push lock on it. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Dash of Dave, and I love you all without exception, until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, folks. Lots of love from me. Lots of hugs. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.